So, brilliant. Thanks, Anita. Okay, everybody, I'm going to start to just share my screen here, just to bring up tonight's presentation. Okay, there we go. So for anybody that wasn't here the last few weeks, my name is Aine Boyle, and I'm going to be taking you through week 4 relaxation. So this is kind of the culmination of the end of the program, where week 1 we had food, week 2 we had sleep, week 3 we had movement and exercise, and tonight the final one is week 4, which is relaxation, and effectively what it includes is kind of stress reduction as well. So excuse me. So just to say again who I am for anybody that wasn't here before is I'm Aine Boyle. I'm a registered nutritional therapist, and I own Good Food Nutrition, and I regularly run these workshops for Anita, and I specialize in women's health as well. But I have a massive passion in the effect of stress on our overall health and well-being as well. So tonight I'm really excited to actually come through tonight's workshop with you, because as I say, it's a real passion of mine to actually show people is how the effect of stress and kind of that anxiety, even low level anxiety, has on our health. But more importantly is to show people is how they can actually, what they can put in place to actually help them to relax and to reduce those stress levels as well. So just looking at over the last few weeks is that the progress so far, I suppose one of the things I want to ask, and I want to make tonight quite interactive as well. So I am going to sort of, open up the floor, and at the end we'll have a Q&A as well and to finish off tonight's session as well I'm going to be doing a breath session with you. So it's like a breathing technique session, but it's a very simple technique that I use a lot with clients. I also use with myself as well, but it is a wonderful way of bringing relaxation to the body if you suffer with stress or anxiety, if you struggle to get to sleep at night, but even taking all that out of it is just for bringing the body back to balance and calmness as well. It's lovely. So we're going to be doing that at the end before we actually go into the Q&A as well. So to date is, are you noticing any differences yet? So I'd like you to just have a think for about a minute and just see if there's anything that kind of has sprung to mind is over the last few weeks that you've noticed. Are you eating better? Are you more energetic? Are you sleeping better? Very importantly, is your mood better? Are you kind of feeling more motivated as well or are you exercising and moving more each day? So I'd said before is perhaps even, feel free to write down any improvements that you notice, because what I find is often we think is we've had no improvements, and that, you think, oh, well, I haven't really seen any changes. But actually, once you start writing them down, is what you notice is, gosh, I actually have a lot more pep in my step. I can get out of bed better. I feel more energetic in the morning as well. So, and you can measure it by thinking, how do you feel when you wake up each morning? Do you want to get out of bed? Do you feel motivated to get out of bed as well? So I'll just open up there to the floor to anybody as well. If anybody wants to share, just very briefly, if anybody wants to share sort of any improvements that they have noticed over the last few weeks as well. So if you'd like to share something, feel free to unmute yourself there, because I'd love to hear. Is anybody feeling brave? If not, feel free to pop it into the chat box, and I can have a little look in the chat box as well. Nothing yet? Okay, no problem at all. Well, we'll move on. And if anybody does want to share as we go through, I would love to hear. So relaxation. In this week, I want to focus primarily on relaxation, which is relaxation and stress reduction. We'll add them in together. But it's something that is essential to your health and well-being, but it's something that often gets overlooked as well. And I'm talking about, when I'm talking about relaxation, is I'm talking about getting into that rest and digest mode. So coming out of the fight or flight, sort of, that low level stress every day as well, and getting back into that where the body gets a chance to relax, it gets a chance to repair itself as well as, and it gets a chance to rebalance itself as well. So what I do find is relaxation is one thing that I see overlooked a lot. And in some cases is, people don't think that it's very important. They often don't, I know with my own clients, is they often don't feel that their sense of self-worth as well is that they're not worth putting the time in for relaxation. And what I will say is it is so important, is really, in order to have good overall health and well-being, both mentally and physically as well, is that I start with the relaxation, because you can put in all the foods and all the supplements you like, but if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling anxious, then you will be constantly swimming against the tide, and you kind of are fighting a bit of a losing battle. So this is why I feel so passionate about tonight's one. So the fight or flight, at any one time, your body will either be in one of two modes. It will be in survival mode, which is our fight or flight mode, or it'll be in rest or digest, which is when we're in a relaxed and a balanced mode. And when your mind feels under threat in a situation, it propels the body into a state of fight or flight as a survival mechanism. Now, this is a primal mechanism in humans to keep us safe. And if you think back to when we were cavemen and cavewomen, is that you want this fight or flight mode, because you're out and you're hunter gathering, and suddenly, I don't know, the saber-toothed tiger comes upon you as well. As you want to be able to make sure that you can get out of that dangerous situation so that your species survives to live another day as well. And your body is naturally designed to revert back to your rest and digest. So you have the fight or flight, or kind of the survival mechanism that gets you up, gets you going. So cortisol is pumped through the body, which basically what it does is it feeds the muscles in the body with glucose that gives it that kind of shot of adrenaline to get it up, get it moving. But once that kind of threat is gone, or is no longer, or something is no longer perceived to be a threat to you, is that the body's natural mechanism is to revert you back to rest and digest mode. And as I say, is, that could be stress, trauma, anger, feeling angry at someone, feeling irritable, or a fright or a shock as well. So the body has a brilliant ability to be able to read a situation and to, react when it's meant to react, and then switch off that reaction whenever that threat has passed. But unfortunately, is modern life, our stressors in modern life come from many different places. So we're no longer just that we are, feeling afraid or feeling stressed because there is a woolly mammoth or there's a saber-toothed tiger or something after us. Is that was normal primal stresses. But our stresses now in modern life, there are so many of them. Family, maybe you might have, a dysfunctional family, or, kind of your poor family relationships as well. Your work, you could be working in a job where it's incredibly stressful as well, or maybe your boss is incredibly, brings a lot of stress to the position, as well as financial. You could be, maybe you're not earning enough money, or you're constantly worried about, can I pay my bills? Can I pay my mortgage? Can I put food on the table? Environmental pressures as well, as they would be pressures around you in your environments, and they would also encompass as well, family as well as and your work included in that as well. So if you think about it, is these type of pressures, well, they're not directly life-threatening in that that you are, that it is a case of, if you don't react, that you could be dead in a second. They're not life-threatening in that particular way. But what they do is, long term, they have this cumulative effect that they add to long-term stress levels, where in fact what happens is if you have months or years of this kind of low-level stress as well, as it actually impedes the body to revert back to the rest and digest mode, or effectively back into a relaxed state. So what happens is that in many cases, and I see it a lot, and particularly over the last 2 years, is that stress and anxiety levels are off the chart. absolutely off the chart. And I do believe is that, we need to be very careful going forward that we support our mental health and well-being as well, as so that we don't end up sort of exacerbating physical health conditions as well. So in a lot of these cases, you may find yourself stuck in that fight or flight mode, which is that high stress, high anxiety mode as well. So it might actually be having an impact on your overall mental and your physical health as well, because stress causes great inflammation in the body. Inflammation causes sort of physical symptoms in the body and deterioration, and also chronic disease as well. So it's really important to use techniques and tools to help your body and to aid your body to get back into balance using whatever relaxation methods that you feel comfortable with. So it really, I suppose, tonight is all about recognizing, gosh, do I have low level or high level stress? Or have I kind of come to accept that that stress that's been in my life for the last 20 years isn't normal? Like, just because you've gotten used to a stress or a stressor, it doesn't make it normal. It just means that you have adapted to your environment as well, but it can still be detrimental to your health as well. So when we talk about relaxation will mean something different to every single one of us. But what does it mean for you? So just take a couple of seconds there to think about it. Is when you think about relaxation, is what do you generally do? Do you walk? Do you sit down? Do you read a book? Do you watch one of your favorite programs? Do you make yourself a cup of tea? Do you ring a friend? What exactly do you do to relax? But also thinking about it as well and asking yourself honestly do you ever relax? Because there is quite a lot of people, and I know with my own clients, I see a lot of clients with, I see many clients with a lot of chronic stress, which has led on to health conditions as well. And actually, many of them don't know how to switch off and how to relax. So it's worth just thinking about that for a second. Then when you think about the things that you do to relax, how often do you do them? Is it something that you do maybe once a week, once every fortnight, once a month? Because effectively you should be adding this in to your everyday life. So you should actually be incorporating relaxation, downtime, stress reduction techniques throughout your day, okay? It's a kind of cumulative effect where it builds and builds and builds. And then we end up with a lot of sort of resources to aid our bounce back for when, life's obstacles, our life's little traumas and stuff hit us as well. The other thing I want to say there is, do you only do these techniques when you feel stressed or anxious? Because that's the big mistake a lot of people make, is that they only do, relaxation at times when they're feeling uptight. That's mistake number one. Is the idea is that you are, putting in place these techniques day after day after day. So when the time comes when you need them, is that you all have all that resources there is that you can sort of lean on as well. So thinking about relaxation for when life is tough and for when life is easy as well. And having daily rituals, as I said, to help us feel relaxed and calm can help reduce stress levels in the longer term. And I always say as well is that if you are going through a tough time as well, as doing those relaxation techniques is first thing in the morning, because what they do is they actually set you up for the day as well, which is very important. Because if you are, going through a tough time at the moment and you leave those techniques until halfway through the day or later in the day you've already had a pretty rubbish first half of the day. So thinking about it is that if you put in those techniques at the beginning of the day, the likelihood is that you'll be able to turn around that day and make it a lot more sort of easygoing and a lot more relaxing. So self-care is part of relaxation, and it means replenishing your body and taking care of your own happiness. So it's taking a little time every day and dedicating it just to you. And I have you there in capitals and bold because it is vital. This is non-negotiable, absolutely not. And you'd be amazed the amount of people I speak to on day in, day out who do no self-care because, as I say, they don't prioritize it, but they also don't feel that they deserve it. And every single one of us deserves to put ourselves first, because unless you are going to put yourself first with your self-care, you're not going to be able to make yourself strong enough to be able to support your friends, your family, your children as well. So you'll be the first to crumble. So as I said, it's not optional. when it comes to your health, it's essential. And what I see time and time again is that people who don't prioritize self-care, either now or in the past, they are the ones who tend to fall with inflammation, very, very high inflammation, disease, different medical conditions as well, and often with mood disorders as well. So again, it is completely essential. It's as essential as brushing your teeth in the morning or going to the bathroom as well. So just see it as that is. It's not one of those is, oh, I'll see if I can fit it in today. It needs to be fitted in. So self-care is also the recognition that only you can make yourself happy. And that if you make sure that you dedicate some time every single day purely for your own enjoyment, you'll have more fun. You'll be more fun to be around. I can honestly guarantee you that. But you'll have far greater reserves to deal with the stresses of everyday life that gets thrown at you as well. So again, it's just building up those reserves and those resources as well, that to be able to take life's knocks whenever it comes at you. And what I do see as well in my clinic is that those clients who are happiest always prioritize self-care. Okay, and it's not too late to do it because it's something that you can change at any point in your life. It's just being aware of how important it is. So one of the things I always encourage people to do is to open a self-care bank account and to make deposits into it regularly. So exactly the same way as you have your normal current account or your savings account, and you would put your pension in, or your wages, whatever you put in there, as well as your self-care bank account is where you make a deposit every day into it. And this way, when the big events happen in life, or the traumas or the real stresses and anxiety is, you have a healthy level of reserves and resources there to draw on in order to cope. And the knock-on effect of this is that you tend there's less likelihood of you then falling into the disease trap or into the high inflammatory trap as well. So it could be something so simple as a walk, bit of meditation. Tonight, I'm going to show you the breathing techniques as well. It could be making sure you make time for your friends, make time for that 10-minute cup of tea in the morning when you are so busy, but it's the one that brings you joy as well. Anything that makes you smile, makes you happy, that's self-care. So what it will be to you will be totally different to me, but it doesn't matter as long as it's benefiting you and it's going into your self-care bank account. So self-care is a skill. And it does involve discipline. And it's something that can be very easy to do, or it can be very difficult to do as well. Okay. So it's one of those where it's very easy to say, oh, I didn't get a chance to do anything today, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, oh, I didn't get a chance to do anything, I'll do it the next day. You've got to be very disciplined and treat it exactly the same as your other bodily functions or your daily routines as well as. And that way is you'll start to see the benefits very, very quickly. And here's a challenge for you today is when you go away tonight from the workshop is make a list of at least 20 things that you love to do just because they make you feel happy or they make you smile or they make you laugh, okay? They can be really daft, really silly stuff. It doesn't matter because I'm not going to see them and nobody here in the workshop is going to see them. But it's something that it kind of lifts your heart. It makes you smile. It brings you joy as well as. They are the things that's self-care as well. So I would ask you is when you go away is just get a piece of paper and write down 20 things, whatever they are, because there's no wrong things. It's whatever makes you smile and makes you laugh as well. So there's a little challenge for you tonight. So the barriers to self-care, well, there's a few of them. But to be honest with you tonight, the biggest barrier people say is time. I have no time. I don't have time to do that as well as I would love to do that. I would love to do some yoga today, but I don't have time. I'd love to go for a walk, but I don't have time. And I'd like to really encourage you tonight is to make time, is to say to yourself is that by making time for your self-care that's an investment in your health. So coming here for the last 4 weeks that's an investment in your health where you've got information and lots of little dietary tips and lifestyle tips on sleep. That is you investing in your health. And that is self-care as well. But saying to yourself is that, you know what, is that in order for me to maintain good health, both mental and physical as well, is that I need to prioritize giving myself some self-care, some time. And it doesn't have to be like half an hour or whatever. If you have an hour, that's even better. But if time is a real barrier for you, then what I would say to you is start off with 5 minutes and see where you go from that. Because we all have 5 minutes in our day. It's just sometimes we prioritize the wrong things, and that sucks away at our time as well. So the solution to this is that when you make some extra time for yourself, and that's even 10 minutes, even 5 minutes, let's even start with 5 minutes. For anybody on here tonight who was really struggling, is I would say to you, start tonight when you come off this workshop, is that when you make some extra time for yourself, is suddenly more time appears in the day. So it's a little bit of a bit of magic as well, and it really does work. And it can only be explained by way of saying that when you focus on your own happiness and your own joy, obviously, as well as, your family, your kids, your job, whatever it is you need to focus on, you'll have a much more positive attitude. You'll have a real can-do attitude, and actually you become a lot more efficient with your time. So it's like if you've ever tried, where you get up in the morning and you have a list of things to do and you think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get through this. I'm never going to get through this. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm drowning in here. And I know I felt like that today when I was trying to set up my new microphone. And you know what is, I just said to myself, I'm stepping away here for 5 minutes. And actually, by stepping away and giving myself that 5 minutes to just have a cup of tea, to just sit, I then came back and approached the task again. And actually it was sorted in minutes. Okay. So even that 5 minutes today, which I gave myself a cup of tea, that's still self-care, rather than sort of banging your head off the wall constantly, as well as step back 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is that, and then just watch the extra time that comes into your day, because effectively what you've done is you've reprioritized your time that to help support your overall health. So my top tips are, the first one there is spending time outside in nature. Okay, and I've talked about this before, particularly in the sleep week as well. It's a natural relaxation technique. It's completely free, so you just walk outside, even if it's raining as well. You stick on the raincoat, the umbrella, and away you go. But it's actually is daylight and fresh air, and particularly if you're going into nature, it's a very powerful effect on bringing calmness into the mind. So effectively, nature is incredibly powerful at rebalancing our nervous system as well, reducing stress, reducing anxiety. If you think about it, you're walking into nature, it tends to be very quiet, as well as you tend to start looking at the trees, at the bushes, at the birds and everything like that is. And straight away, you can feel all those stress levels just starting to diminish as well. Okay. So again, just getting outside is, you don't have to be, if you can get out for half an hour, even better. If you can only get out for 15 minutes, it doesn't matter. And remember as well that daylight as well has a great impact on our sleep as well at nighttime and on our mood. So again, you're ticking all the boxes here. So it's a double whammy or triple whammy. The 4-7 breathing technique, I'm going to show you that at the end as well. It's a lovely technique and it's so simple. It takes a couple of minutes each day. You need no equipment except for a nice chair. You can sit on the floor. You can lie on the floor, whichever you like as well. And it can be done anywhere. Sometimes if I'm in the car and, I think, oh, I'm late, which regularly happens to me, is that if I'm sitting in traffic, I will do this technique. Absolutely. So it's not meditation. It is just calming the nervous system using the breath. And the breath is the most powerful tool that we have for bringing calmness to the body. It's incredibly powerful at recentering the nervous system and recentering the mind as well. So another way that I use this as well with my own clients is that when people are feeling very anxious and the kind of stories start in their head, it's almost like your mind starts overwhelming you, as well as you can use this breathing technique as well to just calm that chitter chat, or the kind of, that chat that goes on in the head as well. It can send you a bit crazy sometimes as well, but it calms all that. And it just allows you to kind of think calmness and just come back to balance as well. You could try meditation as well. Meditation increases our self-awareness, and again is brilliant for bringing great balance to our nervous system. It helps focus on the present, so we're not focusing on what in the past, what we did. It's not focusing on what we should be doing. It's not focusing on the shopping list. It's not focusing on the washing that needs to be done. It's focusing on the here and the now. And when you're doing your meditation, obviously, you're using the breath, where you're concentrating solely on the breathing in and breathing out through the nose. And that is what keeps you lovely and present as well as, and again, that's what brings all that beautiful, joyous calmness into the body. It gives us, the meditation also gives you a new perspective in situations, particularly at times of stress and anxiety as well, where the mind can overwhelm us and say, oh, it's terrible, everything's, negative and everything that is, brings that sense of perspective where it goes, okay, bit of a tough time at the moment, but I'll get through this. And again, is just centers yourself again. And it also helps to improve your mood. And the main apps that I use, and all three of these, they have paid versions, but they also have free versions as well. As the first one is Calm. Second one, there's Headspace. And I love Headspace because there is an English guy called Andy, who is a Tibetan monk, and he has the most beautiful calming voice as well. As wonderful. And then my favorite, which I use, and I have the paid version of it, is Insight Timer, and I just love it. If spoken meditation isn't for you, there's music. There's beautiful meditative music in there as well. So it might be something where you're sitting in your favorite armchair, you close your eyes and you just put on the music. And if that calms you, that's perfect. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. You just do what suits you and what makes you comfortable as well. And even starting with 5 minutes as well is a wonderful way of actually kickstarting this. Your yoga, and I've mentioned yoga so many times, is there's so many different types of yoga depending on your mood, depending on your flexibility as well. So something even like starting with a few minutes per day of stretching. Vinyasa and yin yoga is a wonderful kind of yoga, gentleness, balance, taking the body back to center. And also as well, it's suitable for all age groups as well. So even if you suffer with pain or inflammation, as well as starting with a bit of vinyasa yoga is a great way of, kind of moving the muscles, moving the body, creating that movement in the body as well as, and promoting good mood. Your sleep, well, we know this from week 2, so I won't harp on about this tonight, but your quality sleep brings your body back into a balanced state. And you remember me saying that when you sleep badly at nighttime, the next day is a little bit of a write-off. You don't eat well, you feel grumpy, you feel irritable, you've no motivation as well as, and you've just lost your get up and go. So again, it's focusing back, going back to that week 2 on the sleep, is checking out all those tips I talked about, increasing the quality of your sleep as well as, and that in itself will actually work alongside this week's relaxation very, very well. The last one there is journaling, and I'm a big fan of journaling. So it's the art of writing feelings and thoughts down. It's very therapeutic, it's very calming. It's also, you allow yourself to write your innermost feelings because nobody's going to read them and they're completely confidential as well. So something as simple as writing, 3 things you're grateful for each day. It allows us to focus on the positives in our life, and especially during the difficult times, okay? And I know at the moment is that people are still struggling a lot with the effects of the last couple of years. And actually some people are feeling more anxious as we go on as well. So even something as saying, I'm grateful for my cup of coffee in the morning. I'm grateful I could hear the birds singing in the trees outside my window. I'm grateful that I was in the supermarket and somebody allowed me to go ahead of them, or somebody, said, hello, how are you? Or smiled at me or started a conversation. Anything like that is, anything positive that happens is just, that's your gratitude there. So I would urge you is that if you are struggling with that at the moment, is just start tomorrow or even start tonight as well as getting a little notebook or a piece of paper and just thinking to yourself as 3 things today. Could be anything. You could be grateful for having a lovely dinner. You could be grateful for the fact that you had a half hour spare today, you were able to go for a walk. It doesn't matter. It just empowers the body to think more on the positive side than to dwell on the negative thoughts as well. So the 4-7 breathing, I'm just going to very briefly explain this, but what I've done is on these 2 slides here is I have, when you get your recording is, it will fully explain what you need to do. So it means that when you come away from tonight is that you can use this tonight, tomorrow, whenever you like as well. So effectively what it is that shallow breathing in the body. So that kind of stress breathing where we're kind of going, when we feel a little bit anxious, it leads to tension and fatigue in the body. Whereas breathing with your diaphragm, so it's belly breathing around the belly area, it tends to reduce stress and improves energy as well. So it's also called abdominal breathing. And it's a very powerful way to decrease stress in the body because it activates relaxation centers in the brain. And when you incorporate this type of abdominal, diaphragmatic, or belly breathing into your daily routine, you find that that focusing your attention on the breath during stressful moments becomes easier to do. It's one of these type of techniques where the more you do it, the more you love it, and the more you realize is, I want to do this. So it's that idea that when you see the benefits of it, is that you want to do it, which makes it so much easier. And it's a really good breathing technique that helps you deal with stress, anxiety, and also negative emotions as well. So again, whenever you're concentrating again on the breath, in and out, it's quite meditative, but also as well as your body likes it because you're not focusing on the problems from the past, problems that might be in the future, or you're not thinking about all the things that actually stress you out. Is you've effectively moved completely into the present, and you're only thinking about breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. It's incredibly relaxing as well. So what we need to do is, I'm going to encourage you now to get very comfortable, and then we're going to start it for a few minutes. So what I would say to you is, if you're sitting on your couch or wherever you're sitting, or you're very welcome to lie down, whatever you want to do yourself is finding a comfortable place to sit or lie down with your feet slightly apart. So if you're sitting up, is your feet on the floor flat? And if you take off your shoes, then you're grounding yourself to the earth as well. Okay, again, making sure you're nice and warm and cozy. So maybe a nice jumper, a scarf, whatever it is. Okay, and then what you do is that nice, sort of your back is nice and straight with your head kind of just facing out. You can see me on camera. Lisa, I hope you can see me on camera. Yep. And is that you want a nice straight back, but not rigid. So effectively what you're trying to do is you're trying to ensure that your breath is not obstructed as it goes in and comes out. So a nice straight sort of back, but yet, relaxed. Your shoulders are down from your ears, and you are feeling, you can feel your body nearly melting into your seat as well. So then what I'd like you to do is taking one hand, either your left hand or your right hand, whichever you like, across your belly, so across your abdomen, and the other hand on your heart. So it doesn't matter which way you do it. You can do left on your belly, right on your heart. And you can either do this exercise with your eyes open or your eyes closed. And I have a little breathing apparatus on screen in a second. So you might want to sort of, watch it to begin with until you get into the rhythm of your own breath. So you are gently exhaling the air in your lungs through your mouth. Okay, you're inhaling through the nose and you're exhaling through the mouth. So effectively what you're doing is as you inhale through the nose for 4, you're kind of going, and as you inhale for the count of 4, is your belly is rising. Okay, so the air is going in and filling up the belly and the chest, not just the chest. And the idea for that is that the air is coming in and going right down the length of the body and not just up in the chest. Because when you are breathing up into the chest, generally you're feeling anxious, you're feeling under threat, you're feeling stressed as well. Okay, so we want to bring that breath in and fill up the whole of the cavity of our body. So you're breathing in for 4, kind of, you're holding with your mouth closed for 7, and this will all be counted down on the screen. And then after 7, you're breathing out through your mouth for 8. And you will be literally going, I'm going to just demonstrate to you now. You're going to hold for 7. And then you're going to breathe out. A nice long exhale through the mouth. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. And that's how you're going to continue, okay? And you're going to slowly exhale to 8. Then you're going to start again, inhaling on 4, hold, exhale for 8. And you'll get into that lovely little rhythm. And you can watch the little mandala on the screen in a second. And if you want to take your hands off your belly, off your chest, that's totally up to you. But it's actually very comforting at first to keep your hands there as well. Now, what I will say is that it's actually quite a powerful mechanism, this. Once you start kind of sort of controlling your nervous system. So if you feel lightheaded, if you feel dizzy, nausea, or any way at all kind of unwell or uneasy during this, just stop immediately. Go back to breathing through your nose, in and out through your nose, and that will sort of regulate you back into that calmness as well. Okay. And obviously is, you know, let me know at the end if anybody has had any sort of you know, have any sort of bad reactions to this as well. If you currently suffer with blood pressure conditions, you know, be careful on this, even if you do 1 or 2 as well, but just monitor how you feel. Okay. So repeating it until we feel deeply relaxed for a total of 5 cycles. Okay. So this little fella here is our mandala. Not our mandala, it's our little sort of interactive tool. Okay. And it is going to tell us, I'll just go back here again. It's going to tell us to inhale for 4. You'll see there 4, then hold. And it's going to count us through to 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it's going to tell you to exhale. And you're just going to be exhaling through the mouth. So if you want to even get the timing in the first few bits, okay, and then you can close your eyes. Or if you're comfortable with the whole thing, is you can actually close your eyes as well. So if everybody is nice and comfortable, you know what I mean, just shuffle yourself around, get yourself nice and comfy, as well as hand on the other heart on our other hand on the heart as well. Just take a couple of breaths through your nose to make sure that your belly is rising. If your belly is not rising and only your chest is rising, you're not breathing deep enough. Okay, so just get yourself nice and comfortable. And we're going to begin. And we're going to do this for a few minutes, okay? And again, it's a lovely way to end off our week of relaxation. So sorry, I'm just going to start this now if everybody wants to get nice and comfortable. And we're just going to start now. So we're going to inhale for 2, 3, 4, and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and exhale through the mouth for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale through the mouth for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And inhale through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And exhale through the mouth for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, inhale through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and exhale through the mouth for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm just going to let you just follow the on-screen instructions there yourself for another couple of minutes, and I'm going to stop speaking for now. And we're just going to do another couple of rounds of this, and that should have you lovely and relaxed tonight before bed. And I'm just going to count you through one more. And inhale through the nose, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and exhale out through the mouth for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now what I'll ask you to do is just stop and just go back to breathing in and out through your nose. So just nice and relaxed, just back to your normal breath, in and out through the nose. And just let yourself just sit there for a couple of seconds, eyes closed, just breathing through the nose. And that just brings everything just back down again, just to normal. And I'm hoping now that everybody feels lovely and relaxed after that one. So that the 4-7-8 breathing technique is a wonderful, easy tool to use for whenever. Even if you don't feel anxious or stressed, it is a brilliant one for that self-care, for making that deposit into the self-care bank account, okay? Again, our breath is incredibly powerful. Breath work techniques are incredibly powerful for relieving tension, anxiety, improving sleep, improving overall health as well, but also just improving feelings of happiness and positivity as well. And what I have done is I've included here some of my favorite sort of resources that are nice and easy for you to actually access. So again, the relaxation apps that I mentioned as well. And also as well, if you're interested in more sort of breathing techniques as well, because there's breathing techniques for everything. Two nice breathing apps that I love. Well, actually, I have one here is Flourish. You'll get it on the App Store. And it's called Flourish, and it's by a guy called Richie Bostock, who's also called the Breath Guy, and he's absolutely wonderful. And he has breathing sessions. You know, if you're struggling to get up in the morning, perhaps you're low mood and something, he's got breathing techniques to get you up in the morning, to get you to sleep as well. So again, it's just a nice little other option as well to put in your self-care toolkit. Some nice breathwork books there. Two of them my favorite: Let It Go, Rebecca Dennis, and Exhale from Richie Bostock. Very easy to read. Keep them by the bedside and you can basically dip in and out, you know, whenever you need a technique to suit maybe anxiety, stress, mood, whatever it is. So it's like a little breathing encyclopedia. And some nice books there as well is, you know, Happy Mind, Happy Life from Dr. Chatterjee. And the other one I love from Dr. Chatterjee as well is Stress Solution. And the reason I say these ones is that they are very easy for the general public to actually, you know, be able to put into place as well. So they're very uncomplicated. They're very practical books as well. Going back there as well, your essential oils again, your Tisserand, the different ones there, Amour, Neom as well. And again, always choose an organic. And there is your breathing technique as well. Now, what I've done there is I've included one of my favorite little, it's about 7 minutes, and it's just a little YouTube video. It's different than the one we've just done, but it is using the 4-7-8 breathing technique as well as, and it is lovely little music behind and just following a mandala that kind of rises and falls with your breath as well. So I would encourage you to have a little click into that link as well. There is, again, it's just something you might use every day or every second day, but it doesn't matter. Is a little goes a long way. So that is the end of the presentation there. What I'm going to do is, again, for lots more recipes, blogs, general health and everything on everything I spoke about, is have a look at my website, goodfoodnutrition.co.uk, and also go back on every week that we actually did here as well, because there's a lot of information in the 4 weeks here that we did as well as, and it is the 4 main pillars of health. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the share, and I'm also going to pause the recording. Even get to, oh, sorry, let me just turn that off. Sorry, it's starting to record.